Hello everybody, my name is Deepak Sharma. Welcome to another session for Sage 300. So in today's class, I'm actually reviewing the home practice exercise number 4, which I have shared with you guys on the blackboard. So this is a great exercise that you will do to practice lesson 1 to 8 that you have covered up using Sage 300 2017. So when I'm giving you this exercise, what I'm anticipating that you have done is you have completed all the chapters, which is lesson 1 to 8 by yourself. And if you don't have the software installed on your computer, you must have looked at the exercises and have gone through the lecture that I posted online, and I've read through the book by yourself and looked at the pictures and the steps that are required to perform those tasks. Okay, so now this chapter is going to be used to practice those lessons to give you understanding of how to complete the general ledger setup and record transactions and close the general ledger. So in this exercise, I'm giving my students the two options to do the exercise. One, you can use the software that you have installed on your computer. So that's option number 2 on this exercise. So in that exercise, what you need to do is you need to create a database file on your computer. So you need to create up a company, which is similar to what you have done in exercise 1.1. So what you need to do is on your C drive under the Sage 300, you're going to create a folder called CDN, and then inside you're going to create CDN dat, CDN sys, and once you create those folders, you're going to go open the SQL server, and once you have the SQL server, you're going to create a new database, which is CDN sys and CDN dat, and you can refer to exercise 1.1 as how to do the database setup in the SQL. And once you complete that, you're going to go into exercise 1.2 and use those steps to perform the database setup for CDN sys and CDN dat. Okay, so the process is very similar to what you have done in exercises 1.1, 1.2, but this gives you a good understanding on how to create the database, because if you're planning on using your computer, you will definitely need to create these database for every quiz and the assignment that you're going to be doing in using your Sage 300 software. Then I give you a first option for the student who don't have the software installed. They can use the application, which is the application provided by Humber College through Amazon App Streaming Software. So with this, what you need to do is you're going to click on the link that I gave you, and that link is going to take you to this website, and you're going to click on the standard, and once you click on that, it's going to ask you the Humber login information, and once you click on that information, and it's going to take you to this screen. Okay, and once you are on this screen, you're going to be using Sage 300 software. Okay, so you're going to click on the Sage 300. Oh, your session has expired. That's strange. So let me try one more time. Sage 300. Now when you log into Sage 300, you can use any company because all of these companies are blank. There is no information in any of these companies. They're all empty. Okay, so in this exercise, what I've given you a background of the company is you and your friend started a financial consulting company in December 2019, and you have two departments, accounting and taxes, and you used Sage 50 before to record a transaction when you set up the company, but after that you never did any transactions. Now in 2020, when you wanted to start recording transactions, you decided you're going to use the Sage 300. Okay, so in this exercise, you can pick any database file. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to use chat.dat to use this file. So we're going to create the company and set up the company. I don't need to create a database because I'm using a database that already exists. And students who are going with this with the second option, using your own company, using your own software, you're gonna create a company CDN dat, CDN sys. Once you have it, you will see CDN dat right here. You select it, and then it's gonna ask you the session date. You're gonna use the session date, which is 01/01/2020, and you press OK. And say there's no admin services, you're going to click proceed, and we're gonna activate the session day fiscal year starting from 2020 January 1st. We're gonna click proceed, and once you're here, you are gonna set up the name of the company, which is Canadian Financial Consulting XXX. And what I want you to do is I want you to replace the XXX with the 3-digit of your student number. So even in the test or the assignment, if I'm giving you any XXX and you have to replace it with either your first name, last name, or student number, make sure you do it. If you don't, that's where you're going to lose a lot of marks. Okay, you can put the address. I'm not going to skip that part. And you need to enter the currency. So here the currency is going to be a Canadian currency. And you press OK, and it's going to take you to the company's window. Okay, once you arrive on this place, I'm asking you to set up the monthly reminder, which starts on January 31st and gives you a reminder 3 days prior to the due date. I'm sure you guys know this, how to create these the monthly reminder. So you are going to go into a common services, look at the scheduling, and click on the schedules. You don't have any here, you're gonna create one. I'm gonna call this monthly schedule. You want it for all the users, remind monthly, and you want this to happen starting from January 31st. How many days in advance? 3 days in advance, on the last day of the month. Okay, so it happens every 1 month. Okay, so this is how you create a monthly schedule. I'm going to go a little bit faster because I'm sure you guys know this, and I already posted a full lecture on how to do these kind of things. So this is just a quick summary of this exercise that I'm asking you to do. So you're going to activate the GL module now. So the next exercise you have is go admin services, the activation, and you're going to tell the system to activate General Ledger module. Okay, now your General Ledger module is activated. Now you're going to do the various setups in the General Ledger. So you're going to click on the General Ledger. All the setups are going to happen right here. So you click on the General Ledger setup. First thing, you're going to the options, and you're going to check mark everything that I ask you to do. If it's given any company information, you can do that right here. I don't have a closing count yet. Posting, it's 2019, and I want this to be General Ledger, journal entries, and I want 7 years of information in the system. Comes to the segment, I want 2 segments. Segment number 1, which is accounts, 4 digits. Second one is department, 3 digits. What's my account segment is number 1, and click save. Default structure code, I don't have any, so I can't select anything for default right now. Okay, that's how you will do the options. The next thing, I want you to create 2 different departments in the segment codes, 100 for accounting, 200 for tax. How do you do that? Go under the segment codes, departments, 100 is accounting, insert, 200 is taxes. Save. Alright, so that's that. Then I'm asking you to create 2 account structures. So account structure is right here. I want the first account structure to be only accounts. So I'm going to create one for accounts, and that's only for accounts. And I'm going to create an add. Then I'm going to create another one, which is department. This one I'm going to call this department accounts. So in this case, I want account first, then the departments. Click add. So now I have 2 account structure. One is ACC, another one is DEP. Close. Right, so once your account segments are created, I want you to create 3 different source codes. Again, they are still on the same place. Source code, First one is cash receipts, and then I want another one is cash disbursements, and I want one more for the bank charges. That. So now I have 3 different source code I printed. Okay. So once you finish this, so what you want to do is you want to print the 2 repos that I'm asking you. I want you to print the segment codes. I want you to print the source codes. So to print the reports, you go into the GL reports. Now before I print, I want to change the print destination to preview, paper size, orientation A4, and okay. So you go into GL reports, you're going to print segment codes. First one is segment code, so you're going to click on segment code. I want all the segments, so click print. And when you click print, it's going to show you these segment codes you have. Now you're going to click on the export, and it's going to ask you, say you want export into PDF, okay, all the pages, and it's going to ask you the location. Now you cannot go anywhere except the temporary files or your OneDrive. So what I suggest you to do is save it of the temporary files, and we're going to copy this before we close on the system. Okay, or you can print or you can copy it as soon as we're done exporting it. So here's the first one is, now name it exactly what I tell you. R1 segment codes, save. Now that is saved on your temp folder, and then you close this, and then you close this. You're gonna print source code, and you're gonna print all the source codes. And now this is all the source code that you have, and you're going to do the same thing, export PDF, all the pages, and here we're going to call this is R2, and I'm going to call this is source codes. Okay, so now once you have these reports, you click close, and you close this. Now if you don't want to wait till the end to copy these, you can go into the folder My Files, click on the temporary files. You see this? These are there, so you can just double click or single click again. See, this is getting saved on my computer, so I can go File, show in the folder, and you see this. Now this code copied into my download folder on your C drive. Okay, so you want to make sure you keep saving this as soon as you finish it, because what happened is you don't want to by mistake close something and you don't have your files that you need to submit it to me. Okay, so because you'll be, if you're using this software to do the work for your assignment, you want to make sure you save your files before you finish, if that's the preference that you want. Okay, so now I know that these 2 files are on my computer as well, so I'm going to move forward to the next exercise. You provided a trial balance below in Appendix A, and based on that, create all the GL accounts. So you're going to scroll down to the bottom and look at the account general ledger, the trial balance that you're given, and you're going to create the accounts. So you're going to click on the accounts, GL accounts, and go into the accounts. Okay, so I'm just going to create those accounts. I'm sure you guys know how to do it. I will just do it, and you can just simply watch on my screen. See, structure code is account because it's only the account. Balance sheet. Now bank loan is a liability account, so I'm going to use the 2000 accounts. I'm going to create that as other liabilities. And 2250 is that just the one. Now the revenue account is 4100 because revenue and expenses are putting into two different departments. So this is my revenue for accounting, credit balance, and this is income statement. This is my revenue. See, now I'm going to try this. This is wrong, I know that. I'm going to click add. Say it doesn't match the format of account structure because see, ACC is only 4 digit. This is 4 digit and 3 digit. So structure code is not correct. So therefore, I'm going to change the structure code to DAP because that means account number and a department. So everything else remains same, and I'll click add. See, now this did not give me an error because that's what it's supposed to be. 4200 is for accounting, revenue for taxes, same concept goes there. And then we're going to have another account, telephone expense accounting. So we're going to make that as an expense account, 5100. Call this telephone expense accounts. And this one is my fixed expenses or operating expenses for the expense. Add, then I'm going to do 5200. This is telephone expense, taxes, add. Okay, so these are the accounts that you're given on a trial balance. You saved it, you created those accounts. Then you're going to scroll down to the next exercise that you have is on January 1st, you rented an office, and cost of the rent must be shared among both the departments. And based on the learning from Chapter 7, create appropriate accounts to allocate rent expenses between rent, accounting, and rent, taxes at 70% and 30%. So I'm giving you a scenario and then have you think about the scenario and tell me which account you need to create. So you're given a scenario that you rented an office and you want to split the cost between two different departments at 70% and 30%. So technically you need to create 3 accounts. Okay. So the first account we're going to create is we're going to create rent for tax department. I'm going to create an account called 5100. I'm going to call this rent accounting. Structure code, I'm going to do a DPT, and it's in other expenses as well. Okay, other expenses, add, and I'm going to do another one, 51 200, and that will be a rent for taxes, add. I created those two, but what I want to do is I don't want to post anything directly to this. I want to create another account called 5100 and call that simply a rent expenses. Okay, and then what I want to do with that, oh, I didn't know that's supposed to be a debit normal balance, so I have to go back and change it. So I'm going to put that to a debit income statement, other expenses. I'm going to make this account an auto allocation account. As soon as I click on this, it's going to add up the allocation. I'm going to select this reallocation as the structure code, and I will have this link into 51 100 at 70% and 51 200 as a 30%. Okay, so now this expense will be prorated between these two at 70 and 30%. See, it says account structure doesn't agree because this has to be an account only 4-digit. Okay, so I'm gonna go back into the 51 100 because by mistake I put it to credit. It's supposed to be a debit, and same thing with the 51 200, supposed to be debit. Click save. Okay, so now I'm done with the creation of the accounts, and the next exercise, based on giver trial balance as of December 31st, create a journal entry to record the opening balance of the account. So if you can go back into the trial balance at the bottom, you only given two accounts that has a 10,000 in the general bank account and 10,000 of the capital account. So therefore you need to set up the opening entry. To set up the opening entry, what you do is you go into a GL transaction, and then you're going to record the entry under the batch listing. So as I told you guys already, so when you're recording an opening entry, it will be done based on the trial balance that you're given. It's 2019 December 31st, and you want to make sure we have that fiscal year active as well. So you can look into the options and look at the posting. You are in 2019, so therefore we are okay in posting transaction for the 2019 year. So going to click on the batch list, create a new batch, and call this batch as opening entry. I'm going to copy the same description right here as well, and the date for this is going to be December 31st. And if you have the setup as a source code, we can do that. If you don't, we will use GL journal entry, and you need to know that their normal balances are, so you're only given two accounts. So what I told you, that all the accounts has a normal balance. So therefore when I'm selecting the account 1000, which is bank account, the normal balance is debit, so I select debit account, then insert to go to the next line. Then I have the share capital account $3,000 that has a normal balance of a credit. I put it on the credit side, and that is my journal entry. So if I give you a trial balance that has more than two accounts, you can list all the accounts to their normal balances, and then at the end your debit should equal to your credit. Once you're okay with that, you click add and close it. Now you write the post. You can write the post to yes and click post. Now your entry is posted. Once your entry is posted, what I want you to do is I want you to print the two reports. One is a chart of account long form, another was a trial balance on December 31st 2019. Then you go into the same place, GL reports, click on the chart of accounts, detail, long form, no other changes, click print. And once you click print, you have your chart of accounts. You're gonna click export PDF, okay again, and now this one I'm gonna save it as R3, and I'm gonna name it as chart of accounts. Now I'm done with that. I'm gonna close this and close this. The next report that I need to print is the trial balance. So I'm going to click on a trial balance. I'm going to click on a trial balance. It's going to ask me on what date do I want to print the trial balance. I said 2019 December 31st. Print, and that is your trial balance with the accounts and their balances. Going to do the same thing. Export PDF. Okay, give the name, that is report 4, and I will name that as TB trial balance December 31 2019. Okay, so I have that file saved. So I'm going to close this, and I'm going to close this again. I'm going to click on this my files again and look at the temporary files. And now I already saved R1, R2 before. I'm going to save R3, saved, R4, saved. Now before you close this screen, you want to make sure you have these ones on your computer. So now these files are sitting on my C drive, downloads, and these are the 4 reports. Okay, so now I'll come back to the same place, close this again, and continue with your work. The next exercise, you're creating a new fiscal year. So in that case, you're going to go into creating a new fiscal year. You're going to GL periodic processing, create a new year. So you double click on it, it's going to give you a warning. We're okay with that. You press process. Oh, it's saying I made a mistake. I did not set up the retained earning account as the closing account, because you cannot create a new fiscal year before processing the before you select the new year, before you set up the closing account, which is a retained earning account. So you cannot perform this step before you do that. Okay, so this is a warning for you. That means you have to go back to the GL setup, click on the option, and set up the closing account, and the closing account is going to be your retained earning account. You guys see this? So this is the closing account that must be selected. Sometimes I always see this happen during the class when you guys are doing the test, is when you come in, you don't see this account. The only reason you won't see this account is if you don't set up as a retained earning account, because only the retained earning account shows up here. Okay, so make sure that is a retained earning account, and now you have the account selected. Click save and close. Now I should be okay in creating the new year, and I click process, and now your 2020 has been created. So this is all we have done so far back in lesson 1 to 4. So I'm sure you guys were able to do all those things without my guide. And the next exercise that we have is exercise 17 onwards. These are the new things that you have learned in this week, which was the last week. So now in lesson 5, you are setting the budget. Okay, so the budget setup is done under the GL accounts as well. So in here, this is where you maintain your budget. So you go into the GL account, create on the budget maintenance, and I'm sure you guys have already looked at my my lecture that I posted on Blackboard. But if you haven't, I'm just going to quickly summarize. When you're creating a budget, you select an account that you want to create a budget right here. So here I'm telling you that I want to create a budget for my revenue account for accounting is 10,000 per month. So I'm going to find my revenue account, 4,100, and I want to create budget number 1 for 2020, and you have to press this arrow to see the budget amounts. So I'm going to press on the arrow. Right now, what's my budget? 0. I want to set up a budget, and now these are the various methods we have to set up the budget. Okay, so we have all these options. I'm going to skip the last one, but we will use all the others as one of the method to set up the budget. Depending on how you're setting up the budget, you can select one of these options. If I'm telling you it's a fixed amount per month, per accounting period, you select this option. If I give you an annual amount, you want to spread it between all the months, you use spread amount. If I give you a base amount and you want to increase it by a percentage, you select this option. If I give you a base amount and you want to increase by a dollar amount, you select this option. And if I ask you that you want to copy a budget from another account, you will use this option. If you want to copy it and increase it from another account, that's the option number this. Then you have the second last option is copy and amount increase, that you want to copy the budget from another account and you want to increase it by the amount. You will use the second last option right here. And this one we're going to skip. It's too complicated for you to understand, so we will simply skip it for this chapter. So this budget I'm telling you is 10,000 per month, so therefore fixed amount 10,000. So one thing when you're setting up the budget, plus represent debit, minus represent credit. So your revenue is a credit, so it's a minus 10,000 per month. Now to add it to this, you have to click either add or replace. If you do add to, it's going to take this number, add it to whatever is sitting here. If you say replace, it's going to change this amount to whatever is sitting in the budget amount. In this case, it doesn't matter which option I select, it will do the same thing. So I'm going to click add to. Now 10,000 gets added. If you're happy with this budget, you click add. Then we have the next budget we're going to set up is the revenue for the tax department is 50,000 for the entire year. So in that case, I'm going to select 4,200, click on the arrow, and it's a 50,000 for the entire year. So that means the spread amount $50,000 and that 50,000 is a minus, and that's gonna get added into this amount, and we're gonna say replace or add. It does the same thing. So I put replace, and it's gonna replace the entire $50,000 into those accounts, and I click add. Okay, so that's how you will set up the budget for the revenue account. So the next two accounts that I have is the advertisement for accounting and advertisement for taxes. So now these accounts does not exist. So first thing you need to do is you need to create these accounts. Okay, and once you create those accounts, that you're going to come in and set up the budget for those. Okay, so that's an extra step for you to do. So if I ask you to do that step, there may be marks for creating those accounts as well. So in this case, I'm going to close this screen and come back to it after. So I'm going to go up here to my accounts, and I'm going to create another account, and I'm going to see which account number should I assign, because I want it to stay in the order. So 5100, so I'm going to do 5200 100, and I call this advertisement ACCT for accounting, and this is my department account, and it's a debit income statement, and it's my other expenses. Add, and I'm going to do another one, 5200 200. I'm going to call it advertisement tax department debit income statement. Everything else remains same. So I added these accounts. Now I'm ready to set the budget for that. So now to do the budget, I'm going to go back to the budget maintenance, and I'm going to click 50, what was it, 200, 5200 100, and that one I want to use is 8,000 for the entire year. So I'm going to click on the arrow. There's no budget there, and it is $8,000 for the entire year, and I click add to. So 8,000 divided by 12 is 666.67 per month. Happy with that? Click add. Then we're gonna do the advertisement for taxes. It's 500 per month. Increase it by 500. So 500 per month. That means it's a base, and increase by percentage. I'm gonna use the percentage increase. So here I'm going to change this to first I have to select the right account. So I'm still sitting in the old account, so I'm going to change this to 52 200. Press on the arrow. Now see it's zero budget for this account. I will use 500 per month, increase it by 5%, and now doesn't matter which option I select. I'm going to select add 2, started with 500, keep going up and up and up. At the end I still spend 8,000, but I increase it by 5,000 per month. And if you're happy with that, you click. Now that's how you create a budget. Okay, once you change the budget, you're done with setting up the budget. Now you wanted to record transactions that happened during the January 2020. So now you're recording transactions. So what I'm telling you that is it's already end of the month and you're recording the transactions. So I want you to change the session date. So change the session date, file, open the company, and you're going to enter the session date. Remember the company that we were in. It was Canadian Seed. I don't know what was the name of the company we selected. It was Chat. So because we changed the name, so it shows up your name now. 01/31/2020. Press OK. Your session date is changed. It's giving you a reminder. You can skip it and simply close it. Okay, so now you given transactions on number 19 step, record the following transaction for the month of January. You receive a bank loan of $10,000 to start your business. So you're recording transaction 1, 2, 3. So I give you 3 transactions. Doesn't matter how many transactions, all has to be recorded in a batch. So to record a transaction, you go to GR transaction, batch listing, and we're gonna create a new batch. Batch number 2 is created, and we can name that as a January transactions. And now this is entry number 1. You receive a bank loan of $10,000 to start your business. So this is, I'm going to call this as a bank loan receipt. And the date is January 1st. So I'm going to select January 1st as a date. Now remember, you have to select the right source code. We have a cash receipt because this is actually the cash money you're receiving. Now to receive a money from the bank, you always have to do the entry on a piece of paper. It's debit, general bank account, credit, bank loan. So therefore you're going to debit 1,000 account with $10,000. Insert to go to the next line. Then you're going to select your bank loan account, which is account number 2,000. That's also 10,000. So you have debit and a credit, and auto balance is 0. And you click add, moves to transaction number 2. See, you're still in batch number 2, but transaction number 2. Second entry we have is paid a rent for the month of January, $2,500 plus HST. So here, rent to ABC landlord. And this happened on 10th of January. And this is cash disbursement. Now what is my entry? Debit rent expense. So I don't want to split, I'll just put it to my rent expense. Okay, 2,500. And debit HST on purchases, which is 13% of that. So I'm going to use my calculator. So that's 2,500 times 0.13 equals to $325. Press insert. And how do I pay? I paid it by check, paid by bank. So credit on 1,028.25. Once you're okay with that, you click add. Now you're going to entry number 3. The entry number 3 is you bill the client Dave Construction Limited 2,000 plus HST for accounting consulting, and he agreed to pay in 10 days. So you sent your first invoice to a client. So you're going to say invoice to client, and you can put the name if you want. So for now we're only going to keep it January 31st. And what is this? This is, I don't have the sales. If you have the sales, you select the sales. So in this one, what is it? How did we receive? We did not receive it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it as a journal entry because I don't have the appropriate source code. But in this case, you should have a code called sales, and this entry, any sales, will go into your source code with the sales. So now this one is my revenue for account 4,100, and it is $2,000. Insert to go to the next line, and revenue is a credit, so you're gonna credit this. Insert GST on sales, HST on sales. Oops, where is my batch? It's right here. Oops. Okay, so that's my batch. Okay, so back here. So HST, where's my revenue? Is a credit, $2,000, and the HST is 13%. That is 226. So 2,000 times 13% is actually 260. And your credit, so you debit account receivable, which is account 1200, that is 2,260. Okay, so that's your entry number 3. You click add, and now you close it. So now you have batch number 2 with 3 entries in it, and that equals to the amount of 15,085. Now if you want, you can review the entries again if you want to. If not, if you're happy with that, you can click right to post, do yes, and click post. So posting sequence number 2 is completed. So this entry is posted on sequence number 2. Now you happy with that, you move into the next transaction. You already recorded all these transactions for the month of January. Now what you're going to do is you move into the next step, and next step number 20, you sign an engagement letter with Top Security Services to provide monthly accounting service for the year 2020 with $500 plus HST. Create a recurring entry to run the journal entry from January 31st to December 31st with a cash receipt of $500 plus HST. So in this case, I'm asking you to set up the recurring entry. To set up the recurring entry, you're going to GL setup and create recurring entry. So here I'm going to tell the system to create bill, or you can, whatever description you want to provide to this recurring entry, we can call this, what is this company called? Top bill. Okay, so here we can say is top bill Now the code doesn't matter too much. It matters is what this is going to do. Top security billing monthly bookkeeping. Okay, and how often you want it, that's where we pick the monthly schedule. When does it start? It starts on this day. Does it has expiry? Yes, because this engagement is good only for 1 year, so we're going to end up on December 31st. What do you want the description to be? You're going to say monthly fees for bookkeeping. And what do you want that to be? A receipt, because it's actually going into your bank account. 1,000, which is 500 plus HST, so that means it's going to be 565. And what is going to be my credit? It's going to be credit to the sales account 4,100 $500, and then press insert, and it's going to be credit to your HST on purchases, on sales, $65. Okay, so this is your entry going to be, and this way is going to run each month from this date till the end of this date. You're going to click add. So this is, we are simply setting up the recurring entry, we are not running it. Okay, you will run it at the end of the month. So this step was simply asking you to create a recurring entry, and which you just did it. Now you're doing the month end. So your month end is done, you recorded all the transactions, anything that happened during the month, and now before you close, you have few things that you have to do for the periodic processing. These are create allocation batch and run the recurring batches. So always do the recurring batch first before the allocation. So therefore, if there's any recurring entries that hit the allocation account, it will pick up in the allocation batches. So on the month end, I'm asking you to do is create a recurring batch for the month of January 2020 and post it. Remember, creating is not posting. Creating is simply create a batch for those entries, and then you have to post that as well. So first thing, we are create a recurring batch. It's going to ask me what date you want to run it. I say today, which is January 31st 2020. We leave this one blank, so it will pick all the recurring entries, and we know there's only one. So we click process and see one journal entry is created and placed in batch number 3. So this is already done. So now all you have to do is go into GL transaction, look at that entry. It's right here. See, the type is recurring because system assigned that entry. If you want, you can double click and review this. It exactly did what you asked the system to do. Ask you to start this entry on 31st, pick up your description, pick up the accounts and the amount and everything. If you want to change it, you can. If not, you simply make it ready to post to yes and click post. Now sequence number 3 is assigned for this entry and is completed. So status is posted. You're done with the recurring batch. Now I'm asking you to run the auto allocation and post it. You go to the same place, click create allocation batch, and here you have to describe what do you want the allocation to name it as. You're going to say allocation for January 2020. We want all the accounts, and when do you want the entry to be posted? On 31st. So in this case, it's going to look at all the auto allocation account. Anytime it sees an amount sitting in that allocation account, it will allocate it to the appropriate accounts. This is a small exercise. You already know there's only one account we have, which is the rent expense, and need to be allocated 70 and 30% between the two accounts that we have. So what we're going to do is we're going to tell the system to do it for us. We're going to click add process. Once you click process, it says process is completed. All entry has been generated in batch number 4. You close it, you close this one as well. Now you're going to go into GL transaction, batch list, and review the allocation batch for January, which is batch number 4. You double click it and you see this. There was a rent you recorded for $2,500 sitting as a debit. It moved it to the credit, and it did 70% of that goes to the accounting department, 30% of that goes to the tax department. Okay, and if there was more than one allocation account, it will pick up both those entries as well. So in this case, there was only one, and we're happy with that. We have to click right to post to yes and click post. Posting sequence number 4 is completed. Now you close it and you close this one as well. So you're done the month end, and now you're doing is you're going to print the last couple of reports, and we're going to be done with this month. Okay, and in this exercise, you're done with the exercise after you print the last 2 reports. So the next report that I'm asking you to print is print the posting journals for 2020 that includes all the batches for the month of January. So which batches did we create in the month of January is 2, 3, and 4. What the posting sequence number are for those? 2, 3, and 4. So therefore what I want you to do is I want you to print the posting journals from 2 and 3. How do I do that? Go to same place, GL reports, and look for the report called posting journal. So you click on posting journals, and it's going to say you want to print the posting journals from where to where. You don't want to print the 1 because that's not what I'm asking you to do. I want you to do from 2, 3, and 4. So it's 2 to 4. And you always select this option because you don't want the system to skip any. So you always select this option to reprint if there was something that you printed before. And don't change anything else. And click print. And once you click print, it's going to print batch number 2 that has 1, 2, and 3 entry. Then batch number 3 had only 1 entry. Batch number sequence number 4 only had a 1 entry. So it's printing 2, 3, and 4 batch. You export it, PDF, okay, and that one we have name it as R5, and I'm gonna call this is posting PJ, posting journal. Just name it exactly what I'm telling you so you don't have to think about it. Posting journal 2020, and click save, and we can close this and close this, and then we print the next one, which is the last report is the trial balance as of January 31st. You have printed a trial balance before, but that was December 31st. Now you're printing it for January 31st. You come into the GL reports, trial balance, and now here we wanted to print it on January 31st. Leave everything else blank, click print, and once you click print, it shows up your trial balance on January 31st. You click on export, PDF, OK, and OK again, and now I'm going to change this to R6 DB, and that will be January 31, 2020, and save. Okay, now you close this and close it. Okay, now you want to save the last 2 reports that you just saved on your computer. R5, you click on it, it gets saved. You click on the R6, it gets saved. So you click on and show in the folder, and I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 saved. So what I will do is I copy these ones. If you have not copied as you're going along, you need to copy everything, at least have those one on your computer. You copy it, and what I'm suggesting you to do is on your C drive, you will have a folder say 300. In here I'm gonna create a called CDN reports, and I will save all the reports that I did in this folder. Okay, now this is how you print everything and save it in a PDF. So now this is exactly what you guys will be doing for your assignment as well. Okay, but as I promised you guys, the assignment only focus on module 1, lesson 1 to 4. I will simply ask you to set up the company and set up the GL and set up the opening entry. So I won't ask you to create a budget and transaction. Those are the ones that will be covered in your test. So the assignment that you guys will be doing in this week will focus on setting up the journal ledger, setting up the chart of accounts, and setting up the opening balance. So technically, you most likely will be printing the first 4 reports. So once you finish printing the reports into a PDF, in the assignment, what you guys are going to do is I will give you the instructions, and then I'll walk you through those instructions next week, is how to upload these one into the Blackboard. So technically these things, if you're sitting on your computer, you're not going to get marked have these ones on your computer. This has to be put it on my Blackboard under the assignment wherever I put the link. You have to submit these reports to me under the Blackboard assignment number 1. Okay, so this is how you will complete your assignment or the test that you guys will be doing next week. So once you finish this, I'll definitely recommend you to practice this in whichever method you decided you want to use to do the test or the assignment. If you're planning on using using your own software to do the test and assignment, I want you to practice this one using the software that you have at home. If you're planning to use the online streaming services to complete your assignment and the test, I want you to practice this one for the home practice assignment as well, so that way you don't get a hiccup as during the test when you're completing it. Okay, so now this is actually a good solution. We have this online platform to practice Sage 300. There's two things that you have to be very careful. Number one, don't close this browser. So when you're closing this, make sure you're closing only the application, not this, because if you log out, chances that you may lose your stuff. So you don't want to take any risk on closing the app. Second, whenever you export a report and sitting in the temporary folder, temporary files, make sure you copy it on the C drive at the same time. Do not wait, because I don't want you to be in a situation where you close everything and any work you have completed you should not able to see it. Okay, so that's what my suggestion to you is. Just keep an eye that you don't close any of those things, and you will save the reports as you work along. So this will be the end of the lecture today. So but by the end of this week you should able to get a good understanding on everything that you need to get tested for test number 1. Okay, so any question you guys have, please feel free to send me an email on Blackboard under course message, or put a question on your discussion board. Okay, and I wish you guys a good luck. And one last thing that I want to tell you guys, if you are listening to this video, suggest you guys to subscribe to the channel that I'm posting the video to, because I felt it's hard to find if you lose the link. And the second thing is that I'm planning on later on to have these videos on private platforms, so only the subscribers can see it. I don't want these to be viewed by anybody else, because these are made for my online students. Okay, so that means if you can subscribe, so that way you won't lose the access to all the files. Okay, so good luck everybody, and I'm available if you need my help. Thank you. Bye bye.